I can't get the music to stop. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. I thought I would be really cool and start it off. Normally, this is a pre-recorded. Let's see here. Well, I can't get the music to stop. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. I thought I would be really cool and start it off. Normally, this is a pre-recorded. Let's see here. Well, I can't get the music to stop. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. I thought I would be really cool and start it off. Normally, this is a pre-recorded. Okay, I just figured out what the problem was. Sorry, everyone. Hopefully we're live. Okay. I don't know what you're seeing. I'll check it out in a second here. Okay, you can see my screen, but you can't see full screen. So we'll go full screen again. Here we go. All right, that didn't work. Today, the podcast is me, and I didn't have time to pre-record it because it took a while to get all the information pulled together. And so it's live. So if you're listening on the audio only, it's going to be a little late because I'll have to process it and upload it. But if you're on YouTube, you caught me live, which is rare for a Monday. At any rate, have you ever wondered about all this spiritual stuff everybody talks about? Maybe you've heard of the Hermetica or haven't. Maybe you, I'm going to assume if you're here, you know what the chakras are. If you've listened to my podcast, I've talked about the 7 rays of God before. If you haven't heard it, then you don't know what those are unless you're familiar with the Bailey books. And of course, then there's the spiritual initiations we go to, which is really esoteric. And I teach it in my classes. So if you've taken my classes, you know at least what the first 4 are. I've never taught all 7, but now students are saying, what are the rest of them? What are the next 3? And we're going through those now. So I thought I'd put all of this together. How do they all relate? And they all relate. So we're going to go through that. And if you have questions, just leave them in chat. And I do answer all chat. Or if you know how to get hold of me, you can get hold of me. So we'll go through some of the definitions for those of you that aren't sure about some of the things I just mentioned. And we'll go through an overview of those connections. And then I'm going to talk about what is happening to us. You may have noticed that things are changing. You're changing. All kinds of things are changing. People are getting downloads and upgrades and energy changes and just all kinds of stuff going on. So we'll talk about how these different aspects of esoteric teachings are what's happening today. And then we'll talk about my next summit. So the Hermeticum by 7 initiates is where we get the Corpus Hermeticum, is where we get the 7 laws of the universe, which we'll go over a little bit more. But supposedly the Thoth to the Egyptians, or Hermes to the Greeks, or Hermes Trismegistus to the Hellenistic folks, he was the same guy. So was Quetzalcoatl. So were a lot of beings were supposedly this same person that he is able to reincarnate into a body and be on Earth and help guide Earth. Some people think he was Jesus. I don't know about that. But he has left us with information that when you understand it, and we're going to go through the 7 laws, you can understand a lot at many levels. You can understand at the physical level, the emotional level, the mental level, and the spiritual level. And it science is now proving a lot of what is in the Hermeticum. So the 7 laws are mentalism. In other words, everything is mind. The divine, most of us, what we think of as the divine is the divine consciousness. It is the consciousness of the universe. That's why the Bible says God is omniscient and omnipotent. And that's because it's consciousness and the universe is holographic. So every aspect of the entire universe is in every particle of the universe, including you. That's that divine spark within you. That's the hologram. So you are the entire universe inside of you. The law of correspondence, which is as above, so below, and the Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy, that is the logo that we use, the as above, so below. In other words, whatever is up on high, whether that's the stars or your soul or whatever it is, that manifests at the lower level on earth or in your body, and vice versa. However is on your body or on earth, that's how it is up above. Then everything has a frequency, or the law of vibration. And of course, that was my PhD dissertation, was on frequency healing and how to combine different frequencies for healing. But everything, the things that we think are solid, like the computer or my mic here, they're solid because of their frequency. And that's what makes them solid. And that's what makes some things liquid and some things gas. And that's what makes you in a solid body. But that's not your mind. Your mind is separate. There's the law of polarity, where everything has an opposite. So there's an up and a down, the yin and the yang, if you will. There's the law of rhythm. In other words, there is timing. Everything has timing. There's the law of cause and effect, which we think of as karma, and the law of gender, which is masculine and feminine. And that doesn't mean male and female, although it can be. But each of us, whether you're a man or a woman, by whatever scale you want to use today, they have different scales. You have both a masculine and a feminine aspect to yourself. And that's what it's talking about. So there is a law of gender, and that has nothing to do with your, quote, sex. And you're either XX or XY, whatever you want to call them. And if you're XX, we used to call that female or woman. And if you're XY, we used to call that male or man. Things have gotten a little muddled up. That's separate from what we're talking about here, which is no matter whether you're cis male, cis female, or you're converted somehow, you still have a masculine and a feminine aspect to yourself. So if you want to know more about this, you can go to the Corpus Hermeticum, and you can also go to the Emerald Tablets. They both talk about this. The Emerald Tablets is Thoth's voice. The Corpus Hermeticum is 3 initiates, whoever they were. And it talks about all of this. It's the basis of chemistry. It's the basis of many sciences that we have today. So it works on very, very many different levels. Okay, so the 7 Rays of God. So if you've read the Alice Bailey books, I prefer Tapestry of the Gods. There's like 8 volumes. Volume 8's kind of weird, but you can get volumes 1 through 7 on the internet as a PDF for free. And it goes into these are big books. They're like 8.5 by 11, huge, like a big sheet of paper and over an inch thick. There's a lot of information in there on the 7 Rays of God. I've read a number of other books on the 7 Rays of God, and they were absolutely terrible. So be careful what you read. I only recommend the Tapestry of the Gods because it's understandable, and the Bailey books, you really need to have a lot of discernment and be really esoteric to understand them. So the first ray is the ray of will, of power and will. The second ray is love, wisdom. It's actually at the heart. So I'm going in order of the chakras. So the first ray is the crown chakra. The 5th ray is the mind chakra, concrete knowledge. The 3rd is the throat chakra, which is activity, adaptability. Then comes the heart, love, wisdom. 3rd chakra is ray 6, idealism and devotion. The 7th ray is the 2nd chakra, ceremonial, magic, and law. And the 4th ray is harmony and unity at the base chakra. And if you want to understand the rays versus the chakra, in my book, Tapestry, I didn't write Tapestry of the Gods. In my book, Meditation Demystified, I go into the different colors because the ray colors are different. Like power and will is ray 1 at the crown chakra, and it's red, whereas red is the 6th chakra at the base, or 7th chakra at the base. So I'm not going to cover that here. You can look that up if you want. So the 7 initiations. So most of you have been through the first 4, or at very least, all of you, I'm sure, have done the first 2. Some of you have done the 3rd, or you may have done the 3rd and not realized what it was. And we're starting to go through the upper 3. So when I started teaching this in the 90s, most people were trying to get to number 3, and then later number 4. I went through the first 4 in the 90s. So I've been going through these a little bit faster, so I have a little bit more experience in going through them. So the first initiation is discernment, and that's what we need to learn first. Who's our mom? Who's our dad? Who's safe? Who gives us food? And as we learn discernment, we're constantly learning that as we grow, as we age, we start to learn who we can trust, who we can't trust, that there's an aspect of trust and mistrust in everybody, because you can't trust anyone 100%. So you have to learn discernment and understand when someone's trying to fool you or pull a wool over your eyes, or, a phishing email. Do you still click on phishing emails that come from Nigeria or someplace? Most of us have learned better to do that, right? That's discernment. So unconditional love, or the law of attraction. Most people are familiar with that. Most people do that. There's hundreds and hundreds of YouTube podcasts on the law of attraction. And that's unconditional love, bringing in unconditional love, because what our vibration is what we are going to attract. The 3rd is death of the ego. And you've been through this if you went through a period of time where you just had all these dreams where you kept dying in your dreams and terrible things would happen, and you thought, oh my God, am I going to die? Is this a warning? No, your ego was dying. And it can be, the first time you go through it, it can be challenging if you don't know what's going on. You think, oh, am I suicidal? Maybe I need a therapist or what have you. It's just a process that you go through. And these initiations, you're going to go through over and over again. As you learn more at a higher level, you go through all the initiations. It's like a spiral. So you're going to go through them over and over, because each time you go through it, you know more. So you learn more discernment, so that then you learn unconditional love. Well, now you have more discernment based on unconditional love. You learn the death of the ego. Now you have to go through discernment, unconditional love, and death of the ego again as you go through dweller on the threshold. And this is when you understand that light and dark, and you notice I didn't call it good and bad, or good and evil. I called it light and dark. They are within us. We are a hologram of the entire universe. That means all that what we call good and all that what we call bad or evil is within us. It's all there. We have to choose what we want to express. That's the free will part. So now we go through the dweller on the threshold, and the first time you go through that can be really challenging. A lot of people now do, work with their inner child, work with their dark side, there's a lot of people doing that kind of work now. And then the next one is frequency and becoming light. And you hear people talking about this all the time now. I want to be a light body. I want to go into the higher dimensions of 4th and 5th density. And that's becoming light. And then the 6th is diamond source light. This is in the 3rd eye. This is a Taoist principle. And when you start to manifest this, you will literally see a diamond light in your 3rd eye. And if you've watched my podcast at all, you've heard me talk about diamond source light energy system and how to bring that in and use it for healing, for raising your frequency, for spiritual development. And then, of course, number 7 is full awakening, full consciousness. And, we have people that are woke and people that are awake. But when you're fully consciousness, you're neither of those. You let go of those polarities. You stand in the middle, as the Buddha said, and you see both sides and know both sides are part of you. And you go back down to law of attraction. What do you want to manifest? Who are you becoming? Okay, so again, these are based on the teachings of Buddha Maitreya that I studied with in the 90s and the Alice Bailey books. Okay, so this is an overview chart that I put together, and it has the Hermetic laws over here. It's my left. I'm not sure if it's your left or not. Everything is reversed for you. So it's where my cursor is wiggling around. And then based on the 7 chakras, so the law of mentalism is the brain or the crown chakra. The law of correspondence is the ajna center or the third eye. The law of vibration is the throat chakra, your vibration, what you manifest, remember? And God said that there be light because sound, the vibration creates everything, and that is the throat chakra. The law of polarity is the heart chakra. The heart is where we integrate the left and the right, the yin and the yang, the up and the down. The law of rhythm is at the solar plexus. The law of cause and effect is the sacral chakra, and the law of gender is the root chakra. So if we put that together with the 7 rays of God, this is the same order that they are in the chakra center. And then the 7 initiations. So the law of mentalism is at the crown chakra. It's the first ray of power and will, and that is the 7th initiation of consciousness. So if we start at the base, the law of gender, the root chakra, harmony, unity, discernment, this is when we first incarnate as a human. We're learning the basics, fight or flight. What can we trust? What can't we trust? Learning what we can and can't eat. We're a new human to planet Earth or whatever planet you're on. And the more times you incarnate, then you move up into the 2nd level, the cause of effect, the ceremonial magic, the law, obeying the law, not obeying the law, learning unconditional love, understanding that we're manifesting what is around us. And each time we incarnate, and sometimes it may take several incarnations at each level, we keep moving up, moving up, moving up until we get to where we are now, the law of mentalism, the crown chakra, power and will, consciousness. And that's what we're going through right now. We are waking up to our own power and our own consciousness. So what's happening to us? We're changing, in case you haven't noticed. We're getting DNA changes. There's upgrades, downloads. Our vibration is increasing. Our consciousness is expanding. We're understanding we're more than just this body. People like David Icke have been teaching this for decades, and people are now figuring it out. Oh, he was right all along. Our mental abilities are awakening. We're finding out we can do more with our minds that we didn't understand before. The concept of good versus bad or evil is changing because all of that aspect is within us. We are the hologram of all that is. We have to choose. Our spiritual abilities are awakening. You may not realize it yet. Maybe you haven't. Some of us woke up pretty early. Other people are only just now waking up to the fact that they're powerful. Beyond the, was Nelson Mandela said, our biggest fears were powerful beyond our own imagination. Our concept of time is changing because when you go to 4th density, time doesn't exist. And when you get to 5th density, you can literally manipulate time. You can move through time and be anywhere you want in time. Excuse me. Our discernment is also improving. We're able to see through things better, and more information is coming to light thanks to our internet. Even though they try to hide things from me, they can't hide it from us. We're learning how to manifest. We are creating our own world, and we're changing the world. Even if we're lied to by our sleazy media, if I can say that and not get a ding from YouTube. We're learning how to manifest, to recreate our world, create a world that we want, where we're no longer slaves, where we have our free will back to create a place of peace and harmony and love, and where we do not destroy the earth, but we help heal the earth and heal the animals and the plants, and live in harmony with the earth. And we're learning to manage our dark side. And if you think you don't have a dark side, you're delusional. So if you're one of these people, I just want to be nice, I'm going to like everybody, that's crap. Okay, you can't be nice all the time, because sometimes you have to have clear boundaries. Sometimes you have to tell people, that's your choice, but not in my space, and get away from them. You can't just smile and be nice. I see that a lot, and I see those people who do that harboring such anger and resentment, and it makes you sick. You can't hide your feelings. You can't just be nice. You have to honor the fact that you have a feeling and process it and decide how you want to manifest the feeling. You don't have to manifest it by being nasty, but you can manifest it by saying, that doesn't fit my energy system. I'm going to create safe boundaries, and I'm going to move away from this, or whatever the incident is that you want to deal with, and stop taking things personal, so that you get riled up when you shouldn't, and you start fighting because you're all riled up because you took something personal. Those are all the things that we're learning to manage now. So we need to do inner work to deal with that. And a lot of people are doing that now. Look at the coaching business. It's blossoming like mad. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. And that's because people have done their inner work, and now they want to help others. And those are the kind of people that I usually interview on this channel during the podcast, is coaches and other holistic professionals who either want to help us mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. And of course, at the Enlightenment Academy, we go as above, so below, because what saved my life, literally, I was dying, was when I turned to spirituality and I fixed myself at the spiritual level. It ripples down, as above, so below. It rippled down. My cancer was spontaneously healed. My addictions just went away. All kinds of things were healed in me through spiritual development. Now, of course, if your physical being is really, really sick, you may have to work at that level at the same time. Okay, so if you have questions or concerns or whatever, put them in chat. Our next summit is March 28th through the 30th. It will be a little different next time. I had the pleasure of being on a summit recently by Courtney something, and she had all of the speakers on a web page, and you could watch them at any time during the day. I thought, what a cool idea, since my audience is international and all kinds of different time zones. So that's what the next one will be. So it is free. You just have to register. And I used to broadcast live on YouTube, so you only had to be here. That won't happen because they'll be on a web page. So you will have to register next time to see. The registration isn't open yet. It won't open for a couple of months. So you can't register yet. I'll let you know when the registration opens. And you'll be able to view all the speakers at your leisure, whatever time frame works for you in your time zone. And each day will have a theme. So one day might be spiritual, another day might be healing. So the speakers on that day will be part of that theme. And I really like that summit that I was part of. And I thank Courtney for doing that and showing me a new way to do summits. And that's how twice a year, I go through this process that you see on the flow chart. So I do the summit first. Then I do Own for Success. And I've been teaching that I've been teaching it for years, but I've been teaching it online for 2 years now. And I'm going to now convert it into a free 30-day program where each day you get one thing and it will be free. So when that's available, I'll let you know. And then I will continue with my masterclass, Becoming a Holistic Medical Intuitive Mystic. Everyone is intuitive. You already know that. If you don't know that, know that. And my passion is to have at least one person in every tribe or family group or whatever kind of group you're with that is tuned into their holistic medical intuitive. And I'm not talking about Western medicine here. Western medicine, if you have an emergency, go to Western medicine by all means. If you need surgery, use Western medicine. But if you're just in a lockdown situation, or you're in a situation where you can't get to Western medicine, or you just think, I think I'm getting sick or I'm getting a cold, what do I need to do? And this is where being a holistic medical intuitive comes in handy. Do you need to drink a certain tea? Like I'm drinking hawthorn tea right now because I need some hawthorn, so I'm drinking hawthorn tea. So this is what being a holistic medical intuitive is about. What do you need to eat today? Should I fast today? What tea should I take? What herbs should I take? Do I need supplements? This is what a holistic medical intuitive can do. And you can look at someone, literally look at someone. And I learned this in acupuncture school. You can look at someone and tell what their element type is. And in acupuncture, we have 5 elements. And if you've listened to any of my 5 element talks, I did a whole series before the last summit. So it would have been in September, a whole series of podcasts on the elements and what they mean. And you can literally look at someone and tell what their physical element is. And when you know that, you know what's wrong with them or what's going to break first. And when you know that, you know what that person needs in order to stay healthy. And then I'm going to take that program to the next level and create a 1-year accreditation program if you want to become a holistic coach, holistic intuitive coach. Okay, so thank you for joining us today. Like I said, Own for Success, I'll let you know when that's a free 30-day intensive. And my book, Meditation Demystified, it says by Dancing Bear, my spirit name, because it was a cumulative group effort by me and my spirit helpers. And if you want to know more about Own for Success, you can go to ownforsuccess.com. The Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy.com is where you'll find out more about the Academy. And if you go to dancingbeargift.com, I always have a free gift for everybody, no matter what. Right now, you're getting an ebook that I wrote, and a week later, you'll get another gift. And I try to change the gifts a couple times a year. And what I've started doing is, if you sign up for one, you'll start getting all of them. So if you've never signed up for a gift before, you'll get all the gifts I've ever given out. And if you're not, then you may get a duplicate of a gift, and that's okay. Just ignore that part. So thank you for being with us today. And remember to be the light you want to see in the world.